For most of human history, the resources that sustained life, land, water, forests and knowledge, were shared by communities. These were called the commons, collectively managed resources that prioritised mutual benefit over competition. The commons were needed for survival, but they weren't just about that. They represented a way of life rooted in cooperation and care. As the author Willa Cather once said, "The land belongs to the future. We come and go, but the land is always here. And the people who love it and understand it are the people who own it for a little while." Elinor Ostrom echoed this sentiment, stating that access to the commons is a birthright, not a privilege. However, over the last few centuries, these shared resources have been systematically enclosed and privatised. Land was fenced off, water commodified, forests destroyed, and even knowledge locked behind paywalls. This shift disconnected us from the truth that we don't own the earth, we belong to it. I think that's really worth repeating. We don't own the earth, we belong to it. The arrogance of thinking that we can actually own the earth. The loss of the commons has not just created economic inequality, it's led to deep spiritual disconnection. When land is privatised, we lose our sense of belonging to the earth. When water is controlled by corporations, we forget that life itself is a shared gift. When knowledge is restricted, we deny future generations their right to learn. The enclosure of land is a prime example of how the commons were lost. In medieval England, common land allowed peasants to graze animals or farm small plots. But between the 16th and 19th centuries, these lands were enclosed by wealthy landowners, forcing communities into cities as wage labourers. This process of land privatisation continued across the world. Colonialism expanded this trend globally, seizing indigenous lands and converting them into private property. Today, agribusiness corporations buy vast tracts of farmland, displacing small farmers and undermining food sovereignty. Beyond land, other natural commons, water, air, forests, fisheries, have also been enclosed. Water, once freely available, is now bottled and sold at high prices. Fishing rights have been claimed by industrial trawlers, leaving small-scale fishers with nothing. Deforestation has turned sacred forests into private property, disregarding the people and the ecosystems that depend on them. The logic of capitalism treats nature as a resource to be exploited, not a shared responsibility. Perhaps one of the most insidious forms of enclosure is the privatisation of information. Universities charge exorbitant fees for education, making knowledge a luxury. Scientific research, often funded by the public, is locked behind expensive paywalls. Pharmaceutical patents restrict access to life-saving medicines, prioritising profit over human well-being. The internet was initially envisioned as a new commons, a place where knowledge could be shared freely, but increasingly corporate control has turned it into a commercial space where algorithms prioritise profit-driven content over meaningful exchange. Even when information on the internet appears to be free, we're often paying a hidden price, our personal data. This phenomenon has been described by Yanis Varoufakis as techno-feudalism, where tech giants like Google, Facebook and Amazon act as modern-day lords, extracting value from users in exchange for access to their platforms. While these companies provide services at no direct cost, they're collecting vast amounts of data. Our browsing habits, location, our preferences, and even biometric information, and then monetising it through targeted advertising and data sales. In this digital enclosure, users are not owners of their online presence, but participants in a system where their behaviour is tracked and commodified. The internet, once envisioned as a new commons for free knowledge sharing, has become a space dominated by a small number of corporate interests that prioritise profit over privacy and meaningful exchange. This shift underscores the need to rethink how we manage digital resources and protect the commons in the age of big tech. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I'd be really grateful for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.